did want to give everybody an opportunity to review Workstream guidelines. We may have some people here who are new to our community, and some people that I've spoken to in the last month and a half or so. I want to say that the community is organized. The most fundamental unit of the community is the Workstream. All the work that we do is centered around work streams. You've heard so far from a number of work streams. And some of the questions that I receive is, how do I join a work stream? How does a work stream work? And we are seeing an increasing number of individuals and organizations raising their hands and saying, we want to participate in a work stream, or we want to lead a work stream. So this particular presentation is meant to tackle that. Before we recognize a work stream, there's certain criteria it needs to have met. I phrase this as a question: what makes a project, something that you're working on, an official Mojaloop work stream? One, it needs a definition. This includes a description, objectives that you're trying to achieve, a business justification as well. Sometimes you'll hear members of staff say that who is asking for this particular project? Is there an adopter who has a request for this particular thing? When you talk about business justification and adopter requests, that's more or less the same thing. Then we're also looking at acceptance criteria. We require that work streams have at least minimum of 2 active contributors. And these work streams are not just spun up on a will basis. We have these proposals reviewed and accepted by the product council. It has to align with the product council objectives, and it needs to be included in the product roadmap. All this is managed through the product council. The product council meets often about once a week on Tuesdays. We require the workstream to have a leader, of course, somebody with leadership, organization, and technical skills, somebody who is familiar with the Mojaloop ecosystem, and somebody who is committed to see the workstream through for an entire program increment. Most of our PIs are usually on average, about 3 months. The other thing that we require for a workstream is that they need to commit to at least a weekly or a fortnight public meetings. They need to log all their issues on GitHub and track all the issues on GitHub, and have at least a bi-weekly recommended sprint reviews to review the work. Now, that said, I want to dig into workstream leads and the responsibilities, because many people in the last few weeks have raised their hands willing to lead a workstream and what that means. The workstream lead, of course, has to run regular workstream meetings. We recommend at the very least one a fortnight, or at least once a week. We usually ask our workstream leads to post their progress every 2 weeks on Community Central, just letting us know what tasks have been completed, if there are any delays, any updated items from the backlog, or any upcoming tasks. The reason for this is because we usually point people to Community Central, new people who would like to get on board. For example, we have the Accelerator Program participants right now who are joining work streams, and often they would like some visibility to see what work streams are doing and what progress they've made. And this is usually a good resource to point them to. The workstream leads obviously reports back to the product director and the product council. We now have monthly workstream calls where workstream-related matters are discussed and the progress, and those are reported as well to the product council. And the workstream lead, of course, has to ensure that the Mojaloop, that they adhere to Mojaloop design and code review processes. We'll speak about that in a second. The quality standards for style testing, documentation, as well as GitHub tracking. Now, this slide sort of summarizes the responsibilities of the workstream lead. and this is more the tactical, operational, day-to-day work. There's ensuring code testing and external reviews. They guide the strategic direction with the product manager and the product council. They facilitate new feature development. They manage contributions, look at any issues, triage any issues, and support users who come into the work streams with any requests. Of course, handling, fixing, and reporting bugs, managing any technical debt, and ensuring that there's a maintaining basic documentation for all the work that they're doing and the stuff that they're building. How do work streams relate with our community governance councils? We have three primary governance councils, four if you include the product council. We've already mentioned that one. The design authority, again, is responsible for approving any design decisions, and they often conduct regular design reviews. The design authority expects the workstream lead to come to the design authority with any design decisions or any reviews and get the nod from the community architects that sit on the design authority. We have the change control board as well that governs the APIs, the Mojaloop API specifically. So any changes or any proposals that touch on the APIs all go to the change control board for consideration. And then the community council, if there's any issues around conflicts or any proposals around changes with regards to community governance, the processes that we have, including those we're speaking of here, all those go to the community council. I should note that all these workstream guidelines were developed by the community council. So you may ask, what does the Mojaloop Foundation provide? Of course, there's the development environments, the tools and the platforms to do the work and to whether that's actual code contributions or communication to facilitate communication. We have entire teams that are able to support you in terms of testing, releases, and publishing the stuff that you build and put together. We have advocacy and community visibility. We have had requests from some work streams for, say, for example, resources in terms of people who can contribute, and we respond to those. Any governance or resource matchmaking support or that you require, the foundation provides that. And generally any guidance and advice, I think, which is by far the most utilized resource that the Mojaloop Foundation provides in the form of staff time or time with the community architects to provide any guidance and support for any issues that may arise. We spend time characterizing our work streams. We now do this every single month. This is done by the product director, Paul Macon, once he has had a chance to review updates in our monthly workstream calls. And each of the work streams is assigned a status, whether it is active, inactive, on hold, or closed. And the reasons are stated. You can see all this information is published every single month now. It is we keep it up to date. And you can see all that information on Community Central. The link is there, community.mojaloop.io/active-workstreams. On that page, you'll see something like this. This is the most up-to-date. If you're looking for information about work streams, what they're working on, who's working on it, the status of the work streams, the latest updates, this is the place to find it. Links to GitHub. That link is the place to find it. We highlight all the work streams. Excuse me. We highlight all the work streams. We give you their current status, whether a work stream is active, it hasn't begun, the descriptions, the latest update following the monthly work stream calls. You look at objectives, who the leader of the particular work stream is, and just a shortcut, if you want to reach the work streams, the easiest way is to identify the leader of the work stream as it's published there, and just send them a message on Slack. If you've got the email address, send them an email. They're the people who can most easily bring you up to speed and get you involved in the work streams. All these work streams have calls that they call details. You can see the links to the information there. And then the other resources, whether that's the tag on Community Central, where you can expect to get updates of what they're working on every single week or every 2 weeks. You can get links to any documents that they may be actively considering, or a link to their GitHub page where they're tracking issues. Now, while that covers the official work streams, we often get people with ideas or concepts that they want to build within the community. The Community Council decided that we will not have any individual-driven work streams. However, they did create a provision for incubation projects. These are ideas that you want to work on. They could be new features, they could be new concepts that you're toying around with, that are not full work streams yet or don't meet the requirements of work streams, but they still require the approval of Product Council, which means you will need to talk to Paul Macon, our Director of Product, and he will take it to Product Council for a quick discussion, see if this is something they want to pay attention to. If they give it a thumbs up, you are then, that incubation project is governed and it reports to the Product Council. The terms of how it's governed and how it's reported vary from one project to the other, and those will be discussed and set by the Product Council. We've also had many requests for projects related to go-to-market activities. Anything that touches on go-to-market should be channeled to the Mojaloop Foundation Director of Market Development and Partnerships. That's Steve Haley. You can also just send him a message on Slack. So these, in summary, these are put together so that there's a clear structure that ensures transparency and accountability for, and more important, visibility for all the work that's happening in our community. We have collaborative processes that are managed by qualified leaders in our community, of which we have no shortage of. And we want to provide a supportive framework to guide the success of the work streams. Ultimately, everything that happens in the work streams, every product that happens in work streams goes directly into the releases. And so we have every intention of providing as much support and visibility to the work that's done in those areas that would ensure success for those work streams. So once again, this is just a summary, and that this is just this information is public information. Many of you are aware of this information, but it is meant to serve for us as a reminder of the guardrails we have in place for our participation. But also in recent weeks, and as we have many more people coming in, whether it's through partnerships that we've been pursuing or through the accelerator program, we want to provide this information to the community so that you're aware of how to navigate the community. And in case you're lost, just send me an email or send me a message on Slack. We'll be able to help you navigate this.